It's a warm summer evening in a small Tennessee community where long days give way to quiet nights and life unfolds at a comfortable pace. For one ambitious young woman, the future seems well within reach, with a passion for fashion and endless possibilities ahead. Tomorrow feels full of promise. Then, in an instant, everything changes. What happens when love becomes fatal? This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast with Thread of Deception.
June 25th, 2021. Summer is in full swing in Knoxville, Tennessee, a community once described in the Wall Street Journal as a scruffy little city.
We're known as the Scruffy City. Knoxville is a beautiful place. We've got the Smoky Mountains not far away. A lot of rich culture and diversity in Knoxville.
Knoxville's a big city with the hometown feel.
We have a very strong sense of community and everybody pretty much knows everybody.
Growing up as a kid, and you could go outside, play all day long, and never have to worry about any violence. Things kind of changed as the years progressed.
And on this summer day, the changing nature of the city is on the minds of the family of Deshina Kyle.
No one from Deshina's family had heard from her all week. When they tried to get in touch with her, she didn't respond to any calls or texts.
That's not like her because she'll normally text you back in a day.
It's especially odd this week, the week of her birthday.
She was turning 27 years old, and not to call anybody back or to answer their phone calls, that wasn't like her.
Deshina was the kind of person who would want to celebrate and who would want all of her family and friends around her for that kind of day.
I kept trying to call, and she's not calling me back. That's not right.
On Deshina's birthday, her Aunt Rita decides to go to her apartment to check on her.
I talked to my mom off and on all throughout the day, and she just kept saying, has anybody heard from Deshina? And I told her, I was like, Mom, I will go over there.
When her aunt got there, she noticed Deshina's car parked outside the apartment, so she assumed her niece was home.
Maybe she lost her phone or she don't have service.
But when Rita knocks on the door, there's no answer.
Sheena!
And I'm like, well, I guess she's not here. And I turned around. People were just coming out their apartment and going into their cars. And they said, was she in there? And it startled me.
Like Deshina's family, the neighbors are getting worried.
And I kind of asked them, I said, should I be concerned? And they said, yes. It's the way that they said it, like from their gut. And they said, well, her car hasn't moved and we haven't seen her.
Her fear growing, Deshina's aunt tries the apartment again.
Sheena, are you in there?
But no matter how hard she knocks, Deshina doesn't answer.
It just started making the hairs on my arm stand up.
Sheena, honey, are you okay? That's when it started raising red flags. Something's not right.
Deshina Kyle had always been a ray of light in the lives of the people around her.
She was such a bright person. She was so happy.
She just had a way with people. She never met a stranger.
As gifted as she was outgoing, Deshina discovered a talent for art early in life.
Deshina could draw. She just had a knack for freehand drawing just about anything.
She drew these gowns and outfits, and she was so good at it.
It was a skill that, as she got older, she dreamed of turning into a career.
Deshina's always wanted to be something bigger, something more.
Deshina started exploring the fashion industry in high school.
She wanted to have her own clothing line, and she was working on it. She was very goal-oriented.
During high school, it came as no surprise that a pretty girl with an eye for fashion got noticed by the boys.
Deshina and John Bassett met each other in high school. It was like an instant attraction to one another.
Do you mind if I take a look at your notes?
Sure. Maybe we can go over them together this weekend?
They started hanging out more, started doing more, and then it progressed as they got older.
She seemed to like him. She spoke very highly of him.
Soon, Deshina was introducing John to her family.
He seemed very mannerable, and yes ma'am this, yes ma'am that. He was a nice person.
Before you know it, they were inseparable. They were just together all the time.
However, there were also times when they weren't together.
The two were off and on again in a relationship.
But after almost a decade, they were still making it work.
It was just one of those things to where no matter what, they kept finding themselves back together.
While Deshina cared deeply for John, her love life always took a back seat to following her dreams.
Deshina was like, I want a big house for myself, and then my friends can come. I want my own fashion line. All that marriage and kids, that was gonna come later.
Thank you.
I've been thinking about moving to New York a lot lately.
New York?
Or maybe Atlanta. That's not so far.
She dreamed about fashion, and she had a desire to eventually move to Atlanta to pursue those dreams.
With her 27th birthday coming up, Deshina was excited about where she was headed.
She was just very ambitious. She was always looking for the next step. She was always trying to figure out what more can she do to further her life.
She wanted her name in lights.
But now her birthday has arrived, and Deshina is nowhere to be found.
Is everything okay?
Hey, I'm looking for my niece. Have you guys seen her, Deshina?
No. Our neighbors and became suspicious that something was going on.
Should I be worried?
Yeah.
Unable to shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong, Deshina's aunt goes from window to window looking for her niece.
From the front of the apartment, there was no obvious signs that anything was wrong.
But when she gets to the back of the building, she sees something that shocks her.
Deshina!
There is a broken window at the back of the apartment.
The glass is busted out.
Deshina!
It looked like someone might have broken in.
Stay with us. When we return, another piece of the story begins to emerge. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
June 25th, 2021 was Knoxville native Deshina Kyle's 27th birthday, and the aspiring fashion designer had a lot to celebrate.
She had a job, she was working, she had moved into her own apartment.
She was also taking steps to launch her own clothing line.
She was in contact with people in other states about some of her designs and wanting to get those created and to just see what all she could learn about the fashion industry.
But instead of being a day of celebration, Deshina's birthday is the beginning of a nightmare for her close-knit family.
She spoke to her family constantly. So when they didn't hear from her on her birthday, they were very concerned.
The people that she talked to the most were all saying, well, we haven't talked to her. That immediately was like, okay, no, something's not right.
There's no sign of Deshina at her apartment either.
Deshina didn't seem to be at home, even though her car was parked at the apartment. When her aunt went around back, she noticed a window had been broken out.
Deshina!
That prompts her to call the police.
I'm telling them, please go and check on her. Go check on her.
When the officer got there and he finally had someone from the apartment complex unlock the door.
Police department!
I had to take a seat on the pavement with my brother on the phone and just praying that she was okay.
The officer searches the apartment, but he doesn't find Deshina, just her dog.
There is a bed that is stripped of all of the bedding. The dog is there in the dark on the bed.
It's not like for Deshina just to leave her dog there. She would never leave it unattended.
Deshina absolutely adored that dog and took that dog everywhere.
It's clear that Deshina's dog has been left alone for quite some time.
The dog used the bathroom in a lot of places.
But the dog isn't all that the officer finds.
Jewelry, money, TV sets, stereos, anything of value was there. Nothing was taken.
After checking the apartment, the police tell Deshina's aunt there's no reason to panic.
The police are not quick to jump to any conclusions because she is an adult and they expect her to return.
You have nothing in the apartment that's saying any huge sign as to what happened.
They see that the dog is unattended, they see that the car's outside, but they don't suspect foul play.
Instead, the police wonder if there isn't a simpler explanation.
They asked Deshina's aunt if she had ever expressed anything along the lines of needing space, wanting to get away, or just simply needing a break from things.
She talked about moving to Atlanta, but she wouldn't do it like this.
Her aunt is adamant that she'd never go away without telling her family and her friends.
She does not go missing. She'll talk to me. We talk like all the time.
Even if we don't talk for a couple of days, she always makes it a point to at least message me and let me know, like, hey, I'm alive, hey, I'm okay.
With her aunt insisting that there's foul play involved, the patrol officer calls in detectives to take over the case. They start their investigation by speaking to Deshina's neighbors.
Can we ask you a few questions?
Sure, what's up?
We're looking for your neighbor that lives right over there, Deshina Kyle.
The man said he didn't know Deshina too well, but he did say he saw something strange outside her apartment the other day while he was working on his car.
He said he had heard some loud voices coming from the direction of Deshina's apartment.
So loud that he looked out from under the hood to see what was going on.
He says that he saw two individuals, a black male and a black female, and they were arguing.
And you sure that was Deshina?
Definitely it was her.
But he says he doesn't know the man she was arguing with.
You've never seen him before?
The guy, no. It was kind of too far away, so I didn't really get a good look at him either.
And according to the neighbor, what he witnessed was more than just a minor squabble.
He saw them get in a heated argument.
It was more than just verbal.
And the individual actually put his hands around her neck.
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Police in Knoxville, Tennessee, investigating the disappearance of aspiring fashion designer Deshina Kyle, hoped that she just wanted some time to herself.
The police went through the house. There's no robbery that took place, nothing missing.
But this routine missing persons case has just taken an ominous turn.
Now police are suspecting that it might be foul play involved. There was an individual working on a car in a parking lot, and he heard Deshina arguing with a man.
And he saw the man grab her and start choking her.
I was gonna have to help her, but he actually ended up letting her go.
What happened then?
She went inside and he actually left.
Even though they can't immediately ID the man, investigators are able to pin down when the argument happened.
It was a week ago, Friday.
The 18th.
Yeah, the 18th.
The last day she talked to her family.
Yeah, that's true.
Hoping to get a lead on the identity of the man Deshina was arguing with, investigators returned to the station to speak with more of Deshina's family.
The family, as you can imagine, was desperate for answers, and they wanted to help any way they could to locate Deshina.
Presented with the information from Deshina's neighbor, her family quickly has a name for detectives.
That had to be John that she was arguing with.
John Bassett was immediately named by the family as someone that Deshina had had a volatile relationship with in the past.
He'd been her boyfriend since high school, but they'd sort of always been on again, off again.
The family says that Deshina knew they didn't like John.
We weren't a big fan of his.
The family is saying, hey, this is not gonna work out. A lot of times you go out of your way to make it work out. So you do hide these things, even if it's at a detriment to you. Deshina kept 99% of that relationship away from me. I knew nothing.
But Deshina's family does know that she and John recently broke up.
She's tired of you cheating on her and doing all the things that you're doing, and now she want to move on.
They're starting to hear that the relationship was a little toxic.
Although John was the one stepping out on the relationship, Deshina's family says he was obsessed with the idea that she was cheating on him.
Even accusing me of having sex with her when I would leave my clothes at her house. He didn't like the relationship that we had, and it was really weird.
The obsession verged on paranoia.
One night, he followed us all through Knoxville. Didn't know where we were going, didn't care. Just knew that she was in the car with her friends, and he wanted to know where we were going.
During one argument with John, Deshina even called the police.
John and Deshina had gotten into a fight at John's apartment, and he was arrested on assault charges, but those charges were dropped.
It's a major red flag for the investigators.
Now they really need to get a hold of John Bassett to find out what was really going on.
So detectives reach out to him directly.
Hello? Is this John Bassett?
Yeah. Just want to talk to you, John.
We're trying to locate Deshina Kyle.
When the police finally get in touch with John Bassett, John says he doesn't know where Deshina is.
Man, I haven't talked to her in... I can't even remember.
He immediately says, I don't know anything about Deshina. I haven't talked to Deshina. We're not together.
He was actually in the process of moving on, so it's not his responsibility to keep tabs on her.
I want to ask you a few questions about that time Deshina Kyle called the police on you.
Man, that was never supposed to happen.
John admitted that he did put his hands on Deshina during that altercation that led to the domestic violence charges against him.
But he insists he was only defending himself.
She get crazy sometimes. She was chasing me with a knife.
According to John, that wasn't the only time Deshina attacked him.
John told investigators that Deshina had actually managed to stab him once. It wasn't a very serious wound, but it showed that he had to protect himself.
He makes comments that she was the volatile one, that he had just tried to distance himself.
That's why I had to cut her loose. I didn't know what she might end up doing to me.
Now John is pretty much disinterested with anything that has to do with Deshina.
But before he hangs up, he has one more thing to tell detectives about Deshina Kyle.
John Bassett just dropped a bombshell.
He says her anger and violence weren't just directed outward at him.
She had talked about possibly harming herself.
He said that Deshina had threatened to kill herself.
Now the police are really worried.
Especially after they run Deshina's name through their database and discover a concerning police report from 7 months earlier.
We start hearing about a prior welfare call. And in this welfare call, we know that an aunt who lived out of town had made the 911 call.
Knoxville Police Communications.
Yes, I need an ambulance.
Deshina's aunt tried to explain to the 911 operator what was going on.
John called Deshina's aunt and told her Deshina was at his house and was really upset.
Her boyfriend with her, they've been together 10 years, and they just broke up, and she won't let it go.
She told the operator that she was concerned for Deshina's safety.
She's telling him to kill her. She rather die than not be with him, and I don't know what's going to happen if nobody don't go there and help her.
John said she was so upset that she put her head through a window. She needed help as soon as possible.
When we return, the search for answers continues, and the story takes another unexpected turn. Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Detectives in Knoxville, Tennessee, trying to locate Deshina Kyle, have just discovered an alarming police report from 7 months before she disappeared.
Her boyfriend, John Bassett, told investigators that Deshina had threatened to kill herself in the past, and the 911 call from that police report seemed to confirm that.
An aunt of Deshina who lived out of town had called Knoxville police to request officers and an ambulance respond to John's house.
You will see blood, a trail of blood from the house you get there, because she tried to put her head through the window.
After listening to the 911 call, investigators review the police body cam footage from the incident.
When first responders arrived at John's house, they found Deshina sitting in her car bleeding, just like her aunt said she would be.
But the bleeding cut was on her hand, not her head.
Did you try to harm yourself?
Why did you ask me that? Who called me?
Deshina insisted she cut herself by accident.
Deshina told police that she had locked herself out of her apartment and she went to John's place to get the spare key that he had.
But John refused to give it to her.
I came here to get the other key, and he told me no.
Deshina told the officers that John wouldn't let her in and she was banging on the glass at the front door when it broke and it cut her hand.
But when John Bassett came out and talked to the police, he told a different story.
John told the officers that they had recently broken up and Deshina apparently was really upset about it and threatening to kill herself.
Just having issues back and forth right now.
Guys, listen, and she's having a mental breakdown.
He said he didn't let her in the house because he was afraid of what she might do.
The officers told her she was going to have to leave because John didn't want her coming into his house.
Before leaving, Deshina gave the officers a parting message to deliver to John.
Will you make sure you tell him don't act like he's helping me and then that I'm having a manic episode? Like, that's crazy.
The officers at the scene weren't sure who was telling the truth, Deshina or John.
Can't act like he's trying to help her.
The investigators aren't sure either.
It might be some truth to what John stated about her mental health.
Or John might have been trying to convince everyone that Deshina was suicidal.
Deshina is saying he's setting her up, and he's calling the aunt who's out of town to push this narrative that Deshina is unwell.
As detectives try to unravel the truth, Deshina's family is growing impatient.
I'm calling the police detective, and you know how that goes. They can't tell you anything.
They were moving incredibly slow. It was excruciating. So our family took the initiative.
Deshina's loved ones turned to the community for help.
I had a lot of flyers made. I just told everybody, put them everywhere.
They're going through Knoxville, talking to people, asking questions, trying to figure out where's Deshina and what happened to her.
But there's one person who isn't looking for Deshina. John Bassett.
Deshina's grandmother starts sending pictures of Deshina to John Bassett, talking about she always loved and protected you. Please tell me where she is.
John states that he doesn't know what's going on, and he really wish he could help.
Soon he has an even better excuse for not helping. Because he's in jail.
John Bassett is on probation for some previous crimes he had committed in Knox County. Long story short, he is in violation of his probation.
Deshina's family is disappointed when they learn that John's arrest has nothing to do with her disappearance.
I felt strongly that he had something to do with it.
And by now, more of Deshina's friends have started to come forward with stories about her troubled relationship with John.
She had told one of her friends that he had kidnapped her at one point and had her tied up and in the back of the car and drove her somewhere and kept her overnight and then brought her home.
She was letting me know how he used to hit her upside the head constantly.
The stories are compelling, but they aren't proof that John is behind Deshina's disappearance.
Police weren't even sure if she was a victim of foul play. But then, as the weeks turned into months with no sign of Deshina, they became convinced that she was probably dead.
Her family refuses to accept it.
The thought crossed my mind, how would you feel if you watched the news and you seen that your family had given up on you? She just wasn't gonna get that, not from me. I had to keep the faith.
And detectives have to keep working the case.
The investigators subpoenaed cell records from both John and Deshina. The records show John had been with Deshina on June 18th. That was the last day she'd spoken to anyone in her family. Of course, that contradicts what he had told police about not having seen Deshina anytime recently.
They went to her birthday dinner. He takes a photo of her outside. He's taking pictures of the food. So we know that they are together.
And the records reveal something even more alarming.
On John's phone records, they are very surprised to find some very incriminating results from his search history.
Things like, how can you tell if she's pregnant? Very suspicious searches.
But the most incriminating search is from the day investigators believe Deshina went missing.
John Bassett starts Googling, how long do you live after being shot in the head?
Why would you want to know that? Unless you were planning a murder.
When we return, the answers investigators have been searching for begin to take shape. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Detectives in Knoxville, Tennessee have discovered that John Bassett made some very suspicious internet searches around the time his ex-girlfriend, Deshina Kyle, went missing.
The most alarming of the searches was when he Googled how long someone could live after being shot in the head.
At this point, law enforcement doesn't really have any question that John Bassett had some involvement, but they don't have the proof.
But when detectives talk to John's family, they get one step closer.
They then learn from a relative of John Bassett's that he was in possession of a rented truck around the time of Deshina's disappearance.
Detectives start calling around to track the vehicle down.
Police are able to locate the truck.
The truck that he rented was located at the airport.
Can you give us the dates when he had the truck?
Investigators learned that John had rented a pickup truck right before Deshina was reported missing, and apparently he still had that truck when they went to do a welfare check on Deshina.
Detectives also learned that the truck has a feature that may prove vital to their case.
They found out there's a GPS system attached to it.
Technology has come such a long way, and people don't realize that their vehicles can be tracked.
Do you have a record of the data we can get a copy of?
They're hoping that they could put the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out what happened to Deshina on the night that she went missing.
While they wait for the GPS report, police impound the truck and examine it for clues.
A forensic team went over the truck inside and out, but they didn't find any evidence that could connect it to Deshina's disappearance.
But investigators hit the jackpot when the truck's GPS records finally come in.
It is a treasure trove of information.
The GPS system gave them a play-by-play of John's movement the night that Deshina came up missing.
You have location points for every place that it had been driven. Not only do you have the locations, you have the times. You have when doors were open. It's just unbelievable information.
Detectives decide to retrace the path the truck had taken on the night Deshina disappeared.
They started going to every location.
After picking up the truck, John had driven it to Deshina's apartment.
The GPS showed that the truck had stayed at Deshina's for several hours, then went to a gas station, then drove out to Sam Tillery Road in North Knoxville.
There, the truck pulled over alongside a secluded field.
They go in, they're searching the field.
The investigators combed the vacant lot and surrounding woods, but they didn't find anything.
But as they're leaving, they're approached by a neighbor.
Hey, are y'all looking for something?
We're working a missing persons case.
The neighbor didn't know Deshina, but when the investigators asked if she knew John Bassett, she said she did.
You might want to take a look at that house.
The home belonged to a grandmother of John Bassett.
It's been empty for a long time, but she used to live there, and he would come around all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
They know they better take a look at this abandoned house that was in his family.
When the investigators look inside the house, they don't see anything suspicious.
It's obvious that no one has lived there.
But before they give up, they decide to check underneath the home.
They open the crawl space. And that's when everything changes for the investigation.
Smell that?
Yeah, what is that?
In the space under the house, they found a large tool chest, like the kind you might find in the back of a pickup truck.
They quickly determine that the tool chest is the source of the foul odor.
When they open the toolbox, they could see a piece of bone sticking out.
There's a dead body inside the box.
It had decomposed through the East Tennessee heat in this crawl space. So a visual identification was not possible.
There was so little left of her body.
But this could be Deshina.
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Following the GPS trail of a truck rented by John Bassett, detectives in Knoxville, Tennessee have found a woman's decomposing body stuffed inside a toolbox in the crawl space of an abandoned home.
Everyone believed it to be Deshina. There were certain telltale signs, her hair, some items of clothing that were distinctive for her, as well as a sheet that she was wrapped up in that was matching to the bedclothes that were at her house.
But the identification has to wait until her remains arrive at the medical examiner's office.
The medical examiner is able to pull old dental records, and at that point, we know that it is, in fact, Deshina.
The medical examiner also determines how she died.
There was evidence that she had been beaten.
And there was damage to her skull.
But her fatal wound came from a 9mm firearm.
Deshina was shot in the head, and that is what ended her life.
Detectives now face the difficult task of informing Deshina's family that they found her body.
We started crying a lot. I just remember getting really quiet, and I remember screaming no.
Then on October 7th, over 3 months after Deshina disappeared, John Bassett is charged with murder.
John Bassett, at this point, doesn't want to make any further statements. But we know, based upon the electronic evidence, that he did it. We absolutely know that he did it.
In May of 2023, Knox County prosecutors tell the jury that Deshina's death was the final chapter of her decade-long abusive relationship with John Bassett.
There was a history of abuse there, but despite that, Deshina agreed to go to dinner with him the week before her birthday.
She still loved him. You know, that was her first boyfriend, her first love.
The police believe that on the evening of June 18th, Deshina told John it was finally over between them.
Sit down and come in.
Look, I appreciate the birthday dinner, John, but that doesn't change anything.
But why?
We just need to move on.
You seeing somebody else?
John, it's not like that.
John had pressured her to get back together before, and apparently he tried to exercise that same control over her now.
This time, Deshina refused to let John have his way.
He became enraged when she wouldn't give in like she had countless times before, and he put his hands around her throat.
I'm pretty sure it is.
But John wasn't willing to let go.
He was obsessed with the thought that he alone could have her.
He would rather for her not to be alive on this earth than to just walk away and let her go.
And instead of walking away, John came back to Deshina's apartment later that night to prove he still had control over her.
Deshina! Deshina!
When Deshina refused to let him inside, he went around to the back of the apartment and then smashed in her bedroom window, demanding she let him inside.
Deshina! Deshina!
John, please calm down.
I say when it's over.
He took his rage out on Deshina, beating her within an inch of her life.
And then he shot her.
There was stippling on her head because he put the gun on her head and pulled the trigger.
I couldn't bear the fact that they were going into detail about what he did to her.
The family had to live with thinking what was her last thoughts, what was the pain that she felt.
After shooting her, John wrapped Deshina in a sheet and drug her into a closet.
She was bound at her legs and her feet and her chest with duct tape.
They pulled up the flooring and you see the blood. You know that she was in the closet.
But John managed to get rid of every other sign of what had happened in the apartment.
He then pulls around to the back of the apartment, and then he had taken Deshina's sheet-wrapped body out of the window and placed it in the toolbox.
Then he drove to his grandmother's abandoned house and hid the body in the crawl space.
We brought the toolbox into the courtroom, and it was placed directly in front of the defense table. There was no emotion whatsoever from John Bassett when Deshina's final resting place was directly in front of him.
There's no remorse on his face. There's no pity. There's no nothing.
It's a different kind of evil than I had ever seen.
The defense claims there's a reason John doesn't feel remorse over Deshina's death.
They were trying to say that Deshina shot herself.
John's story was that while they were at Deshina's apartment, she got his phone and started scrolling through it and found messages from other women.
You told me you would change.
That made her pretty upset, so she grabbed a gun and then started threatening to kill herself.
No, I'm tired of this. No, don't tell me what.
Put the gun down.
She pulled the trigger, shot herself.
Deshina!
He said he hid her body because he was worried that people wouldn't believe his version of the story, that she'd shot herself.
It's a story the prosecutors are easily able to counter.
We had the testimony from relatives that Deshina was right-handed.
But the gunshot wound was on the left side of her head.
When you look at how Deshina would have had to have been twisted, it just didn't make sense.
The prosecution also argues that there's no reason to believe Deshina was depressed.
She was never diagnosed with bipolarness or any of that. That is one of the many things he would say when she would finally retaliate. He'd make her seem like she was crazy.
She was full of life and doing all this stuff, getting her business going, thinking of ideas. That's not somebody that want to end their life.
She was perfectly sane. She was just in love.
The jury doesn't buy John's claims either.
He is found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole.
Deshina's family is relieved that justice has finally been done.
Me and the family, we actually wanted life without parole, and we was praying for that.
If that were my family member, I would want death, absolutely. Nothing's too harsh for him. But by the same token, whatever punishment he got, it's never going to bring her back.
Now, Deshina lives on as a memory in the hearts of the people who loved her. A memory which will never be forgotten.
Deshina would give the shirt off her back if you asked for it. She was always there. And to know that she's not there, it's just something I don't know if I'll ever be able to live with.
Deshina meant so much to our family. She was loved tremendously by all of us. We'll just never be the same.
I miss her with every cell in my body. I don't know how to move forward without her. I just have to learn how to live day by day.
Some stories leave us with answers. Others leave us with reflection. Behind every investigation is a person whose life mattered, a family forever changed, and a community forever touched by loss. Today, we remember Dashina Cow, not for the tragedy that ended her life, but for the life she lived and the people who continue to carry her memory forward. May her story remind us to cherish the moments we have, to hold those we love a little closer, and to never lose sight of the lasting imprint one life can leave on so many others.
He'd come to America chasing his dreams.
He wants to be a successful guy.
He worked so hard. He was trying to make a life for his entire family.
And after 12 hard years, he'd done it.
He owns this shop. He's making money.
Everything looks like it's going pretty well.
His world is complete.
Until it all came crashing down.
In the bustling heart of the nation's capital, a hard-working man dedicates himself to building a brighter future. Through hard work, determination, and sacrifice, the life he has worked so hard to build finally seems within reach. Then, one ordinary day, an unexpected series of events changes everything. Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode.